Alright, so hey guys, welcome to another Warframe video, and update 28, the Deadlock protocol is finally out, and with it came a bunch of new stuff, so let's check it out, shall we? Now the first thing we have here is of course the Deadlock protocol quest, which I don't want to spoil, so all I'm gonna say is that I personally enjoyed the quest, I thought it was really cool, and the rewards are pretty cool too. You get an interesting weapon a little bit into the quest, and at the end you get the blueprint for Protea, the new Warframe. Then we of course have the remastering of the Corpus ship tile set, which was one of the, if not the oldest tile set in the game. I think it was in the game when I started playing back in 2013. And with that came the rework or remaster of Jackal, the Venus boss fight. And I think it's a pretty cool boss fight. It's still pretty easy because it's on a relatively low-level planet, right? It's on Venus, but the mechanics are kinda cool and it actually incorporates the Parazon. So the way it works is fairly similar to what it was before, it's just a lot flashier. So you still need to attack its legs so that it eventually collapses on the floor, but then instead of just smacking it in the face once and that's it, boss fight done, you have other mechanics to deal with, and you also need to stab it 4 times with the Parazon. So you need to down it 4 times and then stab it 4 times. And once again, since this is a pretty low level boss fight, none of the mechanics seem to do that much damage, though my Moat did go down during the fight, and Hackerman is pretty tough. The update also introduced a bunch of new gear in addition to Protea and the cool weapon you get during the Deadlock protocol. So we have the Stahla Primary, which is just a rifle with some interesting stats and a secondary fire. We have the Velox, which is a pretty interesting secondary as well. And finally we have the Stropha, which is the Corpus Gunblade. Another huge addition with this update were primary kit guns, which have been incorporated into the old kit gun system. So we now have 4 new grips, we have Brash, we have Steady Salam, we have Tremor, as well as Shrewd. And as you can clearly see in the description of the grip, using this grip will result in a primary weapon rather than a secondary. Then if you're a fan of animal companions, you're gonna love this one because they finally removed the stasis system, so you now have access to all your animal companions or all companions in general at all times, and you can also completely stop DNA degradation with the new Trio Incubator update segment. Another change that I thought was really cool anyway is that when you're in your arsenal now and you're mousing over your stats, you get a short explanation as to what's going on, and the one important one is armor, because it now shows you the % damage reduction you get from your armor. And the reason why that's cool, I think, is because it will help you decide whether or not it's actually worth it to add armor to your frame, because previously you would add on an armor mod and be like, well, the number is bigger, so I guess that's better, but I'm not entirely sure how much better, whereas now you can clearly see what the damage reduction was before you added the mod and after. We of course had the damage reduction calculation that you could find on a wiki, but honestly, how many people are gonna do that? And the final thing I want to mention before I get into some minor spoilers are the new star chart mission labels, which do look much nicer than before and do give you a little bit more information than before as well. And now we're getting into some minor spoilers, so if you don't want to get anything spoiled, because I'm going to be talking about some things that happened during the quest in relation to the next edition, now would be the time to leave. Okay, so here we go. Golden hand tributes and void portals and granum and crowns and all that. Now this is explained fairly well during the Deadlock protocol, and it's something that you have to engage with during the Deadlock protocol. So the way this works is when you're doing a mission in one of the new reworked Corpus ship tile set, you might run into a Corpus treasurer. This enemy will be marked with a special icon and will actively try to get away from you. But if you manage to kill it, it will drop one of 3 different crowns on the ground. And the type of crown they drop, as far as I know, is related to the mission level or mission difficulty. Now what you need to do here is pick up the coin off the floor. It won't just be vacuumed into your inventory, you do actually have to press like the interact button on it, and you can then take it into one of the golden hand tributes and insert it into a console near the golden hand tribute. This will teleport you to a pocket zone, which you should be familiar with if you did the Deadlock protocol, because this is where some of the quest takes place, and here you have 3 tiers of an objective. Kill 25 enemies, kill 50 enemies, and kill 75 enemies. The enemies being the new specters that you encounter during the Deadlock protocol quest. Now you only have a minute to do this, and as you go up in difficulty, the enemies get beefier and beefier. However, the specters will every now and then drop a little thingamabob, and if you pick it up, it will give you a little bit of extra time, and if you bring the glyph that you got during the Deadlock protocol, you can still do the same thing you did with it during the Deadlock protocol, so you can sort of charge it up by consuming the specters, and then you can can use it to free some of the Fortuna Duderinos, which will also give you extra time. I didn't find this to be particularly difficult, but then again I was doing it as Wukong and my Celestial Twin had the Kuva Nukor, which was tearing through the Spectres pretty fast. Now the way the rewards work here, it's kind of similar to Spy Vaults, so once you get to 25 kills you will get one reward, once you get to 50 kills you will get a second reward, and once you get to 75 kills you will get all 3 of the rewards. And the rewards are, well, you know, some generic filler stuff like credit caches, void traces, and some endo, but it's also how you get parts for Protea, the 3 new weapons, so the Stropha, the Stalta, and the Velox, and then you can get some decorations. There is also a cosmetic, I do believe, and there are some Captura scenes too. And other than that, well, there are some smaller things, like we got a new MOA and a new MOA weapon. They increased the ribbon capacity from 120 to 150, they removed the Blazing Step Ephemera from Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, and they moved it into the Arbitration Store, as well as added it as a 5% drop to all the Railjack Commander bosses, and so on and so on and so on. You know, there's always just a bunch of smaller stuff, some fixes, some changes, and that kind of shenanigans. But that is pretty much it for the overview video, so I thank you very much for watching. As always guys, if you want to read the full patch notes, I will leave a link to them in the description down below. I hope the video was helpful, and I will see you some other time. Bye bye.
Sons and daughters, I, the heart of who we are, making peace to build a future.